Hello, and how are you doing today? I am here showing you my Asus U46E-BAL7 that I got from Best Buy, and it was a refurbished unit. It was on sale for $629, and if you'll look up the specs for the Asus, I keep forgetting that, U46E-BAL7, it'll give you all of the specs and what it has and what it does. Excuse me. Anyway, I thought I'd show you this real quick, and I'll go over a few things with you. It has a VGA output for a monitor if you want, and it has slots for a, let's see, USB 2, it has, I think it has 2 of those, and then a USB 3, and here's your microphone and headphone output jacks. And then over here we have more, looks like USB there, and then you have an HDMI out, and you have for your Ethernet right here. And you also have a DVD CD burner that's in there. Let's see, nothing on the back except the plug for the power charger, which isn't all that big. And then on the front here in the center you have a SD slot for an SD card. Underneath there's nothing remarkable, it's just your battery pack in there, I guess. And or no, your battery's back here, and I guess this is where your drives are and where you would change RAM and all that if you wanted to do that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and fire this up so you can see how long it takes. I'm kind of familiar with this. It takes about a minute, so we'll hit that, and I'll talk about a couple other things while I'm doing that. So if you want to time it, 3, 2, 1, here we go. Alright, press the button, so start your time, and I'll tell you when the Wi-Fi comes in, because that's good indication that it's absolutely going. This is some sort of an entertainment button. I'm not really sure what that does. The keypad is not backlit, and but it's very quiet when you punch the keys. It's not a tactile keyboard. It's got a good feedback feel to it, but it's just not tactile. Now let's get into the processor. The processor is a Core i7, and it is a, let's see, i7 2640M, which is dual core. And let's see, it looks like, well, we're booted up, and let's see, Wi-Fi adapter is now available. I'm getting, now we're having some thunderstorms, so I'm not really sure if my Wi-Fi is, there we go. We've just hit Wi-Fi, so that's your full-on boot time into Wi-Fi right there. So anyway, it's got the dual-core i7 Intel processor. I'm going to stutter through this for a minute. I kind of want the i7 that's a quad core, but so far I haven't really noticed any remarkable difference. Well, I have noticed a remarkable difference between what I had and what I have now, and the remarkable difference is that, you know, I'm on single core old school crap from like 5 years ago, so yeah, this is quite a leap. It comes with 8 gigabytes of memory and the dual core i7 processor, so for $600–700 that's really not bad at all. I thought this particular model, the BAL6 was listed as being able to be expandable to 18 gigabytes. This particular machine right here, I'm told, is only able to handle 8 gigabytes. Now 8 gigabytes is a lot of memory. I mean, if you go back just a couple of years, hardly anything had that. But you know, if you can have 6, and 6 is only going to cost you another or I mean, if you can have 16 and it's only going to cost you another, you know, like $100 to go to 16 gigabytes of RAM, I'd kind of like to be there. So that would be the only thing that would make me maybe want to trade this in, because there's an HP model I'm looking at. It's huge though, with a 17-inch screen, but it has the quad 4 and it's able to hold 16 gigabytes. And after I had looked into this, came to realize that, you know, with all that extra power and the fact that I want to do video processing, that's mainly the purpose for getting a new laptop, that I just might trade it in. But I will say this much for it. This machine at 14 inches and just under 5 pounds is very portable. It's, you know, it's a nice, sweet machine to carry around. And I haven't really had any issues with, you know, any video processing or anything like that. Not that I have done a whole lot with anything other than like Windows Movie Maker and Camtasia. Now I do use Camtasia quite a bit, and from making a video on Camtasia, I've made a few tutorials, and actually I'll go ahead and put a link to my latest tutorial that I did in 1080p. It's some boring stuff about ZenCart, which is a shopping cart system, but you can kind of get a sense of, you know, what this is capable of and how the video is. Now, one brings me to another good point. When I did the Camtasia video on this, I used the onboard speaker. That's this little tiny speaker that's right here, and then there's a little camera here. I used the onboard speaker, and the sound quality of the video just really wasn't all that great. So if you're going to use the speaker, or I mean the microphone that's on board this, I would highly recommend an external microphone if you need it for that purpose. If I was just going to do Skype, I'm sure this thing would work out just great. It does not have a high resolution camera. It has a typical resolution camera, but I typically use other type camera equipment when I record. So like I said, if you wanted to use it for Skype and things like that, that's perfect for that. Those are some of the only issues that would have me move to another machine. I love the size of this thing, love the form factor of it, love the weight. I love the way the keys in there. Well, you're going to hear some stuff because I don't have anything open right now, but all it's going to do is ding. Anyway, it does have lights here, and let's see, there's a caps lock light, which is right here, your Wi-Fi light, your hard drive light, your battery light, and I'm not even really sure what that last one is here. It's got a picture of a light bulb, so maybe that means it's, I don't know, that it's on. I guess that's that. But anyway, yeah, let's see, what else can I tell you about this? Oh yeah, Camtasia. When I ran Camtasia on here, I noticed that the video turned out great. Everything was fine. I haven't had any hang-ups or crashes with this machine yet. But the Camtasia didn't seem to render. Of course, it was a really huge file. I did notice a little on the smaller, the 760 stuff that I did. I did notice that it seemed a little quicker. But when I did 1080 on the Camtasia, it seemed like the rendering took quite a while. Now, I'm sure it's faster than the old crap I was on, but I was kind of hoping with 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 2.8 gigahertz dual core processor, I was really thinking that would probably scream along, but I'm sure it does just fine. A couple of things that I did want to point out. The graphics on the Asus they're just not, there's not a graphics card in here that's like an improvement over what Intel puts into the machines. So one thing that I did notice is when I go to YouTube, for example, and I don't know if I can duplicate this on here, But if I go to YouTube, let me see if I can. Yeah, YouTube, and play videos. One of the things that I did notice on there was that let's see. If you had really dark colors in the videos seem to be a little washed out. And let's see if I can find something here that would be a good. Okay, there's a video down here somewhere. Yeah, music video. I guess here's a music video. I'm not a big fan of Chris Brown, but anyway, you can maybe get a sense of how the speaker sounds too. So let me expand the screen here. And see if they have a... No, that's a low quality video. Anyway, I'm not going to waste your time with that, but I will run a bit of it. I don't know if this is explicit or not. Okay, yeah, that's... Anyway, you can hear it's very, very tinny, and both of your speakers are on the one side right here. And so, you know, the sound quality, that's the only main real drawback, is the sound quality and the video quality when you're looking at, you wouldn't use it as a gaming machine, but it'd be a great, you know, school machine or work machine. It does really, really good in, you know, anything you want to watch that's not necessarily a video. But I have noticed watching high definition videos that some of the background colors, if it's really, really dark and there's very little contrast, I've noticed some washout where those colors are a little black. And but other than that, I do a lot of web building and processing in that regard. So if you were to use it for, say, building websites, or for like the Microsoft Works and Word and stuff like that, I think you'd be very, very happy with it. I think overall it's a very good computer. I mean, just all things wrapped together, for the amount of processing power and the amount of memory that it has, and for the amount of money that you're spending, I think it's a really, really great, I wouldn't say entry level, it's beyond an entry level. You know, it's not like one of your $300–400 boxes you're going to get, but it's also not going to be like a $1,500 one either. It's, you know, it's a good mid-range computer. And if you can live without, you know, listening to it, actually most people don't, I would think, that appreciate music and really want a good sound out of a laptop. You're probably not listening out of your speakers anyway. And I have plugged in headphones with this, and the headphones do sound really good. They sound just as good as any other computer that I plug them into. So the bottleneck isn't in the sound card itself, the bottleneck is in the speakers. And Asus has taken the extraordinary step of putting both speakers on one side, and I've read in the reviews where people have thought that one of their speakers was burnt out until they came to realize it was on one side. Oh, some of the other features is it has WiMAX. I guess that's what it's called, some kind of technology having to do with like wide area Wi-Fi or something like that. I am not familiar with it. Look in the specs, it'll tell you more about it. The other thing is there's some sort of facial recognition. I haven't looked for it or found it or stumbled across it, but evidently there's facial recognition in this thing. I don't know how that would help you or hinder or anything. I've never used that. The other thing that it seems to have is that apparently it can broadcast HDMI to your TV. However, you need equipment some box is just like $100 in order to be able to receive that signal from your TV. So it's got a lot going for it, and it does have a few shortcomings. But if you're considering this size computer, this weight of computer, and you want something that's going to give you an all-around great package for a really good price, under $1,000, I would look at the Asus. Let's see, it's this is a BAL7, so I would, I would have a look at it for that. I know one thing: if I wasn't going to do video, I know that there is no way I would ever get rid of this. The only thing for me is I don't get new computers that often, so if I decide, in a year that I need more memory, I'd really rather spend $50, $100 for the memory than to go out and spend $800 or $1,000 for another computer at that point. I kind of like to get about 2 or 3 years out of my computers if I can, unless there's a real curve in pricing and in performance. So I'm going to spend $100 more probably and go ahead and get the HP, and I will do the review of that as well. But if you're looking at this, the Asus, for its size and all the things it can do, I think it's a wonderful machine. And like I said, I would hesitate to let it go, other than the fact that that I want to do video, and I don't even like the idea of the trade-off into a much larger and heavier machine than this, because this is so close to being perfect. Hopefully that's helped you out some. If it has, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to get if you want to know about the HP, I think it's DV or DVI, one of those, DV7, check back at my channel here in about a week or two, and if I replace this with that, it should be within the next week, and then I'll do a review of that as well. Thank you very much, and take care.